Hello, one and all, it is me, Ali Star. This has been a project that I scrapped and then redid. This is one of my favourite Genesis games of all time. Not as good as Sonic, but still, this is a close second. Puggsy, which is a puzzle game, but I'm doing something a little different compared to other Let's Players and walkthrough people. I'm comparing the Mega CD and the Genesis version. So this is the intro for the Genesis. The music also for the Genesis, in my opinion, is amazing. Like, I could easily hum these tunes. So they did something really well there. But this is by Psygnosis. And they're known for games like Lemons, so you know it's going to be a puzzle game. So, that was the intro of Puggsy on the Mega Drive Genesis / whatever you want to call it. I'm just setting up the controls right now. That is the Genesis. Here is the Mega CD. Now, the key reason why I always wanted to try and play the Puggsy CD version is because there's extra bosses. But you will see that it's not always the best thing to have. I'll let you watch the intro because it's quite long. So, enjoy. Now, to me, the Mega CD has done it right there, because he's been chased by some strange spaceship and shot down, and that's why he comes to this planet. In the Genesis, it's like he's just visiting, so there are a couple of bits of differences, but nothing too major. The main difference is in this one, I'm going to be showcasing the Genesis version and any extras which the CD has, like music, bosses and things like that, to make it a bit more of a different type of playthrough. So, with that said, I'm going to start off with the CD as the tutorial. Because the difference between the Genesis and the CD is the CD one has a bit more of a different tutorial. Like, you got to pick up the item and go, and in the Genesis version it doesn't have that. The music is very realistic in the CD version than the Genesis, but for me it doesn't quite work. So that was the CD. Like I said, the music is actually really good. Loved this game when I was a kid. And now back to the Mega Drive or Genesis. I am just a fanboy for Genesis music. It's just got that distinct twang, which makes it so much more enjoyable. So on this part, you're meant to get a barrel and go on there, but I didn't. I just grabbed a gun and just hoisted myself up by pressing jump and pressing down, and that's how you hoist yourself. So the idea is to pick up objects, put them down, or solve puzzles, like I have said. So in this one, you got these barrels. You're meant to place them down so you can make some steps, but if you press up and throw at the same time, Puggsy will do this sort of star throw, which makes it so much easier. Also to note, special shout out to Zeta Plays, I think that's the guy's name. He did this on hard mode, which I condone him for, because he didn't actually know that if you press down and jump, you can actually kill enemies. Whereas before, he just threw objects at the enemies and that's how he killed them. But hats off to him, he did a phenomenal job. Now, back to the CD, because this is the first boss in the CD run. This is the extra boss. This guy gives me probably the hardest time out of most of them, because I just could not get used to his pattern. He blows out a shell and you hit the shell and it falls on him. But the thing is, when he jumps, that's when he can actually attack you. But I didn't realise this for a while, because as you can see, when he's walking around, there's no depth detection at all, so that threw me a bit. Also, get used to this boss theme. In fact, this is probably the one time you're probably going to hear this, because I'm going to edit it most out, because it's a nice boss theme, I will get that. But the difference between the Genesis and the CD, the Genesis version has such a bigger range of a soundtrack. I don't get why the CD doesn't have that much of a soundtrack. As you can see, there are 8 Guardians, or World Guards. They're called Guardians in the Genesis version. And this is another thing. Back in the day, this was considered amazing technology. For me, I didn't like it because obviously it looks so blurry, but back in the day, probably it was really good. So basically, the meanwhile is showing what's happening while Puggsy is exploring. Sadly, it doesn't do it well. The Genesis version does. I just don't understand, because the CD's meant to be the advanced port of anything, but to me this just falls quite flat, unfortunately. So if I was ever to say which one to play, If you like the music on the CD, go for the CD version. And if you like extra bosses, go for the CD version. But if you just want a nice, polished version of this, I would honestly go for the Genesis version. So that was the CD version of the Cove, and now here is the Genesis version. Just, it suits it so well. Anyway, this chest, you open it and it will send sparkles and show you what you're meant to get. Of course I know what you're meant to get. It's the beak at the top here. So all you got to do is make a step with the barrels and just do the trick, which is you hang off the ledge, press down, and then you bounce like this, and then you can get it. No problem at all. You can explore extra into this stage, but it's not really needed. Maybe for a couple of lives and that, but you should be alright as long as you've got a password system. Anyway, here comes the first boss of the Genesis version and the second of the CD. Like I said, the CD has the same boss music, but Genesis has different soundtracks, and I like this one. In fact, I like most of the Genesis versions. There's a couple that fall flat, but other than that, they're really memorable. Like, even after this playthrough, you might be humming some of them, because they are good. And if you ever wanted to see them, just go on YouTube and search Puggsy OST, and you'll find all the soundtracks. So this guy, what you got to do is jump over when he's firing his gun, and then you got to throw fish at him by pressing the throw button, or pick up, I can't remember. It's tricky sometimes, but after a while you get used to it. He's a very easy first boss. As I said, they're world guardians. Now, this is the Genesis version. The raccoons have got the ship and they're taking it. Makes more sense than seeing a CD port where you just see a raccoon get on top of the ship. I mean, how did he get there? There's no ship or anything. Oh, and this is what happens if you don't turn the SRAM off. So, yeah, there's a copyright thing on it. Interesting. So this is what the CD does. It zooms in on a whale. Why a whale, I don't know. It's the way it transports it, but oh my god, so strange. Now on to Redwoods. This is where it starts getting complicated. You open the chest, and in it will show you to get a water pistol. And obviously, like I said, I've done this before, so I'm walking you through it. There's the water pistol. So, for a long time I didn't realise this, but you see that faucet there? You are meant to fill the water pistol back up with it. But I'm going to show you the way I've done it ever since I was a kid. So you grab the water pistol, you go back to the fire. You got to avoid that. You can't kill that enemy, but the nuts do hurt you. And then you shoot the fire. Now, obviously the water pistol runs out, but for me, I had no idea what to do. So what I did is I just jumped over the fire, grabbed a stool or something to support myself while I jump to the next level, and that's how I finished this level. But this is the CD take of the music. I think it's actually really nice. So in some levels you will find glasses and shoes, and they act as an extra hitbox. So when you get hit, you'll lose your glasses or your shoes, and then if you get hit again, you will die. So back to the Genesis version. This is the Redwood Forest theme for the Genesis version, and I love it. I just don't understand what it is about Genesis, but I just love it compared to realistic sounds. That could be my flavour of music. There you go. That box there is where you get the glasses. You pick it up and you press use, and then he'll put the glasses on. This shield, you pick it up, you use it as well, and you get an invincibility frame. There you go. And this way you can just kill enemies quite easily. So this is where puzzles actually start getting a bit more tricky. But not too bad. There are some real doozies in the future. But what you got to do is you got to get this axe. But before you get the axe, you can get the key. The key you get by hitting that switch just there, and then the fan will go off. And then the key will be blown down there. The key is needed to open the gate. These mole enemies you cannot kill. You just have to avoid them. Some enemies are like that. So, we got the key. And we venture forwards, unless I just show off, because that's just me all over the place. I'm like, yeah, I've played this a million times, oh, no problem, look at this skill. Yeah, you're going to see that a lot. So, we've opened this, and now we need the axe. So we go all the way back up to get the axe. It's a lot easier in a stage if you kill all the enemies, because there is one thing in this game which you'll do quite a bit, but it's forgiving because this game is quite short. It's backtracking. It's one of my most hated things in a game, like Metal Gear Solid and that. Oh god, backtracking was definitely a thing. So we've got the axe, so we got to get back up here. And the only way I can do that is by doing the jump grab trick, like that. There we go. And then we use this to break up there. I don't know how an axe really does it, but that's how you do it. And then the gate is lowered. You're meant to use this chest to help you, but like I said, because I know what I'm doing, it's not really needed. But I make it look so easy, but this game can really, really get on your nerves. Like, if you were to download this and not look at my guide or anyone's guide, see how long before you lose your mind. It is incredibly painful sometimes to do. Right, I'm trying to get a heart here, but I think I don't bother in the end, because it's a heart. It's a 1-up. I mean, what's the point, really? So, all I'm doing now is messing around. What am I doing? Come on, Ali. Get your act together. Stop messing around. Oh, I'm going to be cutting this out. I guarantee you that. Come on past Ali. Get a move on. Maybe I should call it Puggsy. So Puggsy is an alien, as if you couldn't bloody tell. Because if he's human, my god, he looks like a cross between a jelly baby and the Easter Island head. I don't even know where his design comes from, but I just don't know what I'm doing here. Get a move on! Go to the next level, for God's sake! Oh wait, here we go. Maybe I heard myself, yes. There we go. That's the end of that level. God damn, why did I take that long? And I will see you guys in Redwood Keep in the next part. I will probably keep it into the CD version, but we shall see. So I'll see you in part 2. Bye!